welcome. Let me know if you want to. Think I got a clean mug around here somewhere.
It is a shame that he will be forever known as the Knight of Thorns, and not the White Rose of legend.
I suppose Kiel asked for the usual discount.
Well, he is the mayor.
No, it's fine. I don't mind.
What is best for some is not the best for all. The Knight Commander prided himself on his conduct. As I have always fashioned myself in his image,
You want to know
I have no
what it is?
desire to stain my armor in pursuit of such transient comforts.
Indeed.
My fear is that the Knight Commander feels he's already
There's plenty
stained,
more where that came
and that
from.
gives him an
Just give
excuse
a
to
holler.
act below his own standards.
Everyone, stay inside. Those bloody knights are back again.
Knights? What warriors sworn to service would do the townsfolk harm?
Pardon me, my lord. I meant no offense. This group belongs to no jarl or king. They're just a bunch of lowlifes calling themselves the Knights of the Eight. They go around from town to town trying to collect protection money. Meaning, if we don't pay, they're going to come back tonight and raid the village.
What about the town guard? I saw a few patrols when I entered.
A handful of guards can't stand up to a couple dozen bandits, and the Jarl's men are stretched thin enough as it is.
Then fortune favors our meeting. I am a member of the Order of the Rose, the personal guard of the Count of Shadenhall. I will see to it that these brigands are brought to justice.
Wait, where are you going?
Over here.
We were fast asleep at the lodge when it happened.
Maybe you can help me.
The guards claim he approached them at night, indicating he had trouble sleeping, and asked if he could relieve them of their posts. The assault occurred about an hour later, with the guards at the tavern by a knight in white armor. Only the steward witnessed the attack. None of us believed it. The Knight Commander would not act so recklessly. However, the armor the assailant wore was indeed his. There was no mistaking the blood that covered its breastplate when we found it the next morning. They called him the White Rose. In the Order, there are those who have flawless technique, and those who simply get results. With the Knight Commander, it was more than just his skill with the blade. It was the elegance in which he wielded it. Every movement was poetry, like a dance of swords. Not only that, but it carried over into everything he did. His clothes were spotless, his manners were pristine, and he spoke with a dictation that would make nobles sound like paupers. He was more than just our leader, and he was more than just a knight. He was immaculate, divine.
Need something?
Glad you're here.
And protection doesn't come cheap.
You know, just the other day, I think I saw a group of rowdy bandits coming up the river. I can't be sure, but they were saying something about burning your homes and...
Don't suppose you'd enchant my sword. Dull old blade can barely cut butter.
Are you sure they weren't vampires too?
I think you're right. Some of them had fangs and such. Probably a whole clan of vampire bandits coming to Coinsgrove to suck everyone's blood.
You heard the woman. Pay up. Unless you all want to become a bunch of homeless night walkers.
If you ruffians are through listing your demands, allow me to propose a counteroffer. Remove your weapons and surrender yourselves to the guard, and I will refrain from removing your heads.
Looks like one of the bandits got here early. And you know what the Knights of the Eight do to bandits?
Let's show him.
You taste my sword! Just leave me with a sword.
Thank you for your assistance. Your skill in battle is praiseworthy. However, we are not alone. As you can see, the townsfolk are ready to defend Kynesgrove. They simply require someone to lead them. It is for that reason I risked taking on 3 bandits, knowing that mortals are inherently virtuous, and that reinforcements would soon arrive. Your words do me great honor, but on this day it is you and the people of Kynesgrove that are the true heroes. I merely provided the impetus for your heroism, the ember that lit the heart of justice aflame. It's the Knight Commander who taught me that one can inspire in defeat as well as in victory. If only he could be reminded of his own words. Would you? I appreciate your assistance. I fear my presence only serves to remind him of what he has lost.
Come on in. Just stoke the fire. Take a seat and get the cold out.
What is it now? What do you ask of the Knight of Thorns? Murder, theft, fornication? I'll have you know that I am no ordinary scoundrel, but a master of all 3.
Odd. Kodlak always says the companion should stay out of politics. And still the Stormcloak supporter, Vigna Greyman, is living in yours.
Save the village? The Knight of Thorns does not save villages. You clearly have had too much to drink, and I clearly have not had enough. Why are you hoarding the liquor, soldier? As your
Would you
superior
believe it?
officer,
Some
I
people even
demand that you
swim
pour
with
me
a
another.
helmet on. I mean, isn't that taking precaution way too far?
Acting, yes. That's what the steward said. It was all an act. What a jarring moment. To be told that everything you are was but a
seriously
creation
believe
of
that
your
you
own
need to take the bath.
imagination. What I am doing now is getting acquainted with that person. Getting to know the real me. This knight you speak
Of all
of
the
is a farce.
Imperials I met, you are
Leave
the
him be.
nicest.
What do you need, my friend?
When I was a child, they said my bones were too brittle to be a knight.
Yes?
I was afflicted with an illness that left me a dry, wilted rose. They said the only way I could survive was if I was perfect. If I could
Need
somehow
something?
manage to parry every blow. They were right.
Good to see you.
I am broken. And all it took was a single
Hello, friend.
mistake. Make it quick.
Oh, hey there. Need something?
No luck, I see. I'm still hopeful the Knight Commander will join us, but for now, we need to prepare without him. I have recruited some of the townsfolk to help build a few rudimentary defenses, although we only have so much time. I wanted to get your opinion before we begin. Do you think it would be wiser to construct barricades or traps? Indeed. More importantly, it will allow us to divert most of our forces to the rear flank. which is our most vulnerable point of entry. Groggy, I need you to gather the other miners and bring them here so we can start building our defenses.
Can rest these. I will take care of it.
Dravinia, we need your alteration talents to protect those in the front line. Defense of the villagers is our priority.
As you wish. My pa runs this town, and you're going to be in big trouble if you mess with me.
Surely you can find use for one who knows the mind of his enemy.
Knight Commander, I always believed that virtue would win in the end.
You are mistaken. I am not who you think I am. It is possible I never was. Still, even a broken elf may be of some use.
What is it? Dragons?
My fallen corpse could trip a bandit or two.
Why are you still here?
This village.
Of course, Knight Commander. You will have your place on the front lines, as always.
Thank you, Hiram.
All right, everyone. You have your orders. As for you, I suggest you get some sleep. We will need all our warriors well rested and focused on the battle.
What is it?
I trust you had a good sleep? Ah, spoken like a true Knight of the Rose. With you and the return of the Knight Commander, it seems the reports of Chivalry's death were premature. I thank you again for convincing him to join the fight. I believe he asked to speak with you. You'll find him up there on the hillside.
What are you doing that for?
I want to thank you. I was a fool.
What was that? Why don't you crawl back into the egg you came from?
Don't you even try that. Try that.
I want to thank you. I was a fool. Part of me tried to convince myself I was protecting the Countess. But in truth, I was ashamed. When the White Rose was stained in blood, I became a fraud in the eyes of the people. And yet in the eyes of the gods I committed no crime. I could have remained unsullied. A rose without thorns. But instead, I chose to debase myself. perhaps I cared more about the title of being virtuous than the ideals themselves. When I was a child, they said I had to be perfect if I wanted to become a knight. The person you see before you is far from perfect, but when it comes to my knighthood, I will do my best to prove them wrong. Yes, whether they think us roses or thorns, we are, in the end, knights of Shadenhall. Huzzah, my friend. And... what? They're here!
I'm gonna break your company. I'm not afraid. You're a creep. You're as good as dead.
I'll show you what a real
So, let's go with that. That's a bandit. Shoot her and smash her head. Shoot her and smash her head.
Knight Commander, the town is safe with nary a casualty.
Yes, and the people have you to thank, Knight of the Rose. You do the Order proud.
The credit goes to you, as I have all my life. When faced with a decision, I needed only follow your example.
No, Haram. You are your own man. And as I am no longer a Knight of the Rose, that is true now more than ever. Give the Countess my regards.
What will you do now, Knight Commander?
I do not know. Perhaps I will follow our friend here. Not every knight serves a court. Some simply serve the greater good. Well, what of it, adventurer? Will you take the Knight of Thorns as your squire? As would I. Call on my service then, when you need me. Until then, I will do my best to flush the poison out of my body. And know that regardless of whether you seek my blade, you will forever have my gratitude.
I don't want to nag about it, but it would be great if we could soon go to the Boulderford Cave. I really need a